Alright, let's do it. Why is this thing interesting, people, right now? The last time I looked at this stock, and it's not one that I like to think about a whole lot because it's just a completely different idea than what I get into. But the stock itself is nice. It's very stable. I was having a hard time finding bearishness whenever I looked at it a while ago. So, this is a different version of that chart, though. In fact, this doesn't really have anything to do with the price. So, really neat stuff here. Small picture. This is some nice structure. It looks like it wants to have a little bit of time to find its way. So maybe a little bit of breathing room. Okay, so this macro is nothing short of interesting. Quite nice, interesting. I'm not sure if I'm optimistic about it, though. Reason being, after that initial double top, which I think is possibly more of an oversight test, it didn't really create a whole lot of structure. And it just decided to get up above that area. Come back for a retest, that's nice. Found some power right there. And really made a go for it. But even still, it came back for another check. Another test. And then what does it do? It makes a go for it, but how far does it really get? Looks like a pretty powerful go for it too. I mean, that's quite a retrace. Pull back. Stuff, whatever. I mean, I'm really looking for something optimistic here. Um, like mostly genuinely. Mostly, what am I saying? I'm being for real on that. Anyway, um, this is really hard to get enthusiastic about because it just simply did not make quite the run for it that you would want to see, that I would want to see. I guess so, anyway. I mean, even if this was to consolidate right here, I would think that would make it a little bit heavy. Unless this thing just really wants to just make some moves. Which, wow. I don't want to get ahead of myself here. But wow, I mean, what would it mean for this thing to completely retrace and just bear market? I mean, how well would it really do? I would think it would be quite an extended bear market. So, I mean, the other option is, does it just pick up power and make a go for it? Maybe a very strong back test or something? I don't really think that makes any sense. It might. But I mean, just thinking about something else aside from that. Standard structure. I would just really like to see a little bit more consolidation of some sort. And what's interesting is that that's kind of how I see this stock. It's heavy, but it's powerful. It's like it just keeps going. And it's like one of the more reasonable stocks that there are. But what I'm seeing here, I'm not sure if I would call this reasonable. I mean, it's like, is it possibly fine? Yeah, it's possibly fine. Like it might be reasonable all on its own in a very different way, is what I would think. Cause like, I mean, it's like, what kind of surprise moves do you have here? It's just very. Classic. I mean, it's just like a standard, no thrills, just. Just get on the market and let's see what happens. But it's like, it's still fine, I guess. Okay, this is not something I'm thrilled to see right here. This is just a clear lack of consistent data. This was not a flat chart right here. It's not a flat consolidation, which I think those are very interesting. And that's kind of how it's being presented right now. I mean, I'm just looking for any kind of consistency right now, and it's just kind of absent. So I guess I would have some nice words about what I'm seeing right here, but I really don't want to comment on it because it's just not lining up with the macro. It's just not being friendly to the macro. And this is more consistent with the chart that's inconsistent. Still looks nice, but it's like, what good is it? How nice is it? What good is it? How nice is it? Is it usable? I wouldn't make any moves based on this. I mean, seriously, just what's going on here? I'm perfectly fine with all these sub macro charts, but it's like the macro is the odd one out here, and that's not an expression I use. Um, it's just like the words that come to mind right now. It's just like it's just all by itself over there, I guess. Anyway, sort of. Sort of, anyway. Whatever. Whatever. Ugh. Well, either way, it looks like quite a sizable move. So, maybe if this does somehow line up with the big picture, maybe it will make some kind of strong move, which would be very interesting for this chart if it did. And that's not something I want to guess at either. The chart's going to do whatever the chart's going to do, but I mean, it's just going to be really entertaining to watch how this thing consolidates. Because it just like, it goes from being like, hey, I don't really want to structure that much, to being like, I think I changed my mind. I think like maybe, possibly, I should start structuring a little bit. That's just my guess. It most definitely has structure. It's just like, uh, it just kind of feels a little basic. Which, don't get me wrong, I really like smooth, basic charts, but it's like, this one's just. It's just making me smile. It's just giving me a smile because I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna say it feels like a pattern trading chart, and I mean those are fine, but they're just like, patterns just seem to be inconsistent to me. I think is why they get me to laugh a little. But hey, it's nice to be able to look at a chart and laugh, right? I mean, I'm laughing with it. I like this chart. I do. I mean, I'm telling you, I want to keep an eye on it, and I mean, I would possibly trade it. at some point. I mean, especially wow, just if it got really aggressive. 'Cause somehow that's like what their actual stock is. It's just like, it's one of the most basic charts, but it's so aggressive at the same time. Wow. The imagery. I mean, I'm really trying to think of an analogy for the main stock, but it's like everything that I'm coming up with is just almost too aggressive. I mean, I guess it's kind of like the people behind the stock, want to go like, say, 80 miles an hour everywhere they go. But they want to do it in like a really nice tour bus and like just more or less right in the back seat so they're safe all the time. I'm not even sure if that's true of their company. I mean, surely they're more hands on than that, but this chart is just like, hey, let's try to do it again. Let's try to make another chart. But this time it'll be how interested people are in us. And it just seems to have such a fun time trying to find its way. But it's like at the same time, I actually would think that this could be really bullish. I mean, come on. I'm going to just assume that somehow there is consistency in the data here. And It's got some power, that's for sure. Oh, power, 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 power. It sure seems to. It sure seems to. It sure seems to. It sure seems to. My name is Andrew Neil Shown, Mr. Screen name Master Andrew. IVIASTER space ANDRUU. Also IVIASTER space ANDREW.